Konnichiwa, Voitev des. Recently I had a problem when I tried to read the kanji on one of those small fancy Japanese Kit Kats. I saw this. It reminded me of something and I started looking for it. And then I found this, which you pronounce as kita and which means north. But it didn't really look like what was on the packaging. There were 2 strokes missing down the kanji which connected the 2 vertical strokes. Anyway, I counted 6 strokes. So, I opened an online dictionary classified by stroke count and looked at all 347 of them, but found nothing which it could be. One of those was this one, which means mortar and which can be pronounced as Q or Usu, amongst others. But what would mortar do on a packaging of a small bar of chocolate? Maybe as a warning against plaque. But that's Shiseki, this one. Moreover, I was quite sure that the middle stroke shouldn't be broken and the top strokes of Q or Usu were all clearly inside the vertical strokes, whereas on the package they were clearly also outside the vertical strokes. Luckily, I got some support during a live stream by Hiko Simon from some people in the chat, like Kerberus Tenshi and Eidir, and Hiko Simon himself, if my memory doesn't fail me. And they said I could use the drawing board of an online dictionary, which I did. It turned out to be a good tip, but not a savior. It was a nice system and it gave me lots of possibilities. One of them was Mimi, which means ear, but that counted 4 horizontal strokes, so it fell off. Another interesting one was me, or I, but that one didn't have strokes going outside the vertical strokes. Also shown was he, or they, but again, no strokes going outside the vertical lines. The problem was the pictures I could make from the packaging didn't make it better. The camera had trouble focusing on the characters. I guess because they were so small, but also because there was other print in the neighborhood and the camera couldn't decide what to focus on. I could remember that by putting the packaging on white, I could remedy that by putting the packaging on a white paper and then covering the unnecessary bits with more white paper. But those pictures didn't help either. So I gave up. But a bit afterwards, I stumbled upon a packaging with the same series of signs, but bigger, and I made another picture. Then it became clear that first of all, I had drawn the horizontal strokes too high up. I had divided the height of the kanji in 4 parts instead of in just 3 parts. Something which I should have noticed from the very beginning. But also that there was something weird with the upper strokes. Especially the one on the right seemed to have a hook. Originally, that from lifting the writing material before positioning it for another stroke. But more interesting was that the hook didn't seem to match such a short stroke at the top of the right vertical stroke. Then occurred to me that possible explanation was that the 2 upper strokes were actually only 1 horizontal stroke, starting left from the left vertical stroke and ending right from the right vertical stroke with a hook. And when I put that in the drawing board of an online dictionary, I got ama, which means sweet. And although I still doubted a bit whether it was correct, I finally had a kanji with the meaning which fitted a bar of candy. The point is, the print was too fine to produce clear horizontal strokes. They were all 3 of them so fine that they were barely visible, and especially the top one caused problems. I have to admit that I kept you all a bit in blissful ignorance, because the kanji was not standing on its own. It was part of a longer series of characters, 3 katakana, 1 hiragana, 1 kanji, and a closing hiragana, which were these ones and which read like Otome no Ama-san. Otome no Ama-san. and that means maiden sweetness. I guess that for someone using kanji daily it might have been immediately apparent that it was about Amma, but it took me a lovely part of the day to find out. Anyway, it's a bit the time you need to learn a kanji, and I had learned some of others in the process too, so no great loss, and I hope the same goes for you. Thank you for watching, or in Japanese, 見てくれてありがとうございます。